Alrighty. Hello, everyone. Do a quick mic check. All right. I think that worked. All right. Okay. Let's get started. Oh, yeah. I have to pop out chat 1 second. Alrighty. All right. Adjust this a little. This better? I think so. Alrighty. Uh, so I was working on this last night and keep working on it today. So we'll see. I I thought about having a timer where I'm like, you know, during the timer I'm focused on painting and then take little breaks, but we'll see. I don't know that I have necessarily a need for that, but we'll see. If I start getting distracted too much, I will, but otherwise, no. All right. Just trying to see where I should start from today. No, it's too bright. I do want the more yellow aspect of it. It's too bright. when I have areas where like I'm planning to overlap back into the background, I find it better to cut into the figure and then I can paint out of the overlapping the background to make it, work better, especially stuff like the hair and so on. It does look funny halfway through sometimes. This part is way too bright, but that's fine. Hey, Milo, welcome. Looks amazingly up. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. How you doing? Man, I've been enjoying seeing your posts. I wish I, could catch your streams, but I've been enjoying seeing your posts. The Daredevil and Spider-Man and everything. Been looking awesome, man. Okay. I was worried for a second that I'd forgotten to unmute myself. That has happened before. For a second, I was like, wait a second, did I unmute? Milo says, I appreciate that, bud. Schedules, man, it's an enemy to all of us. Yeah, I've been having a rough time of it, but schedule wise, like, but hopefully, I'm trying to work towards being more organized and put together, time wise, Actually, I'm thinking of actually doing a video talking specifically about that at some point, like my what I'm doing and so on. But I'll wait. Let's see if everything works out first. I've been watching Portrait Artist of the Year competition, so this fits right into my studies. Nice. Yeah. It's a fun show. Absolutely. Although I am not even attempting for the 4 hours for something like this, obviously. But yeah, that's a fun show. I bought so originally I bought cheap fake gold leaf, but the more I looked into it, the more I realized that I'm going to need to use genuine gold leaf. Um, so I ended up buying some genuine gold leaf, but now I'm waiting for the special glue that I need for it. So this portrait will end up waiting, like I'll finish it and then I'll have to wait for the supplies to arrive. Then I'll, you know, be able to actually finish it. What have you been thinking of Portrait Artist of the Year so far? There is one episode. Oh, I'm gonna hold on. Let me. My thing's about to. Yeah, I need to give it a break, anyways. So, Portrait Artist of the Year. There's one episode. I don't know if you'll catch it because it's I think in one of the earlier seasons. But oh my god, there's a there's an artist who's like a uh I think his background's in comic books, but basically he's clearly a comic book fan. And he draws with pen and ink, and he does a certain type of hatching technique, you know, like cross hatching, but it's not exactly cross hatching. And the judges lose their mind over it because to them it's this revolutionary thing that they've never seen before. And the whole episode, I'm just like screaming internally because I've seen this in comic books and in manga for years, but it's not the most like well known or common hatching, but it's still a very common one, and I was losing my mind the whole episode. Mila says, "Oh my god, I know exactly what you are talking about." Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was a black guy, bald black guy. He was a good artist. I'm not trying to take away from it. He was great, but yeah, Mila says I was yelling at the screen. He didn't invent it. Yeah, same. That's exactly it. I was losing my mind over it. They'd never seen it before. Yeah, that one, that one drove me nuts. But obviously, I'm not always going to agree with the judges. But that in particular, I was just like, he didn't invent this. He's good. I'm not trying to take away from him, but he didn't invent it. That's so funny. I'm glad you caught that one. The Oh my god, they did a version, the Portrait Artist of the Year, Australia, and um, one of the artists who participated in that is used to be a artist from The Simpsons, and I don't want to take away from him because he's a good artist, but he very much stuck to painting like The Simpsons, and I'm just like, that just isn't what in the spirit of the competition, guys, but sure, I guess let them through, or whatever. It's like it was, I don't know. Sometimes, yeah, they can be a little frustrating sometimes. Yeah, but otherwise, I think otherwise, I really enjoy the show. It's fun. I wish I could get on the show. You know, I'm not so arrogant to think that I'd win or even advance necessarily, especially because like you can just have a bad day, you know. But it still would be really fun and I think great to get on the show either way, you know. Oh, thank you, Milo. I appreciate that. It's really amazing to see what those artists do. Man, I think you would do amazing work there. I appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, they do. It's a fun show, and some of the artists are really, really, obviously, really, really good. Um, oh my God! If you've been watching from the older episodes, there was one episode that the one of the guys got upset at the results and literally just went and took his artwork off the wall and like walked out. That one was funny. But yeah, no, it's a fun show. I do think it's interesting that some of the artists who go on there don't seem to really like some of them they don't seem to have a huge social media presence. Like some of them are very active, but some like not at all. Even if they like win, some of them just don't do anything. It's so interesting. Um, yeah. Milo says, yes, I watched the latest season completely, and then I went back and started from season one, and yes, that dude was sour. He said 10 hours for nothing and scurried off. Yeah, he was crazy. You know, I mean, I halfway through halfway through his painting of the day, I could have told him he wasn't going to win. But you know, he just kept going. But also, like, why would you be upset? I mean, if you think, you know, I could understand doing poorly and feeling like what you did didn't properly represent you. But as long as you represented yourself in the best light you could, or, you know, as close to it, and you think you did a pretty good job on the day, like even if you don't win, it's still great exposure, you know? Like take it for that. But no one wants to work with someone who's like a, you know, a sour loser. So, yeah. But yeah. Do you, Milo, do you have a like a contact me thing on your YouTube channel? I forgot to check. Um, I wanted to, I was like, I wanted to message you about something YouTube related, but I didn't, forgot to check. I guess I, or maybe Instagram. Are you active on Instagram? But yeah, after this, even if you're not into portrait into landscapes, landscape artist of the year is also a good show. It's next to my list. It's next on your list. Nice, nice, nice. You know, I wish they would do this in America, but I just know they could never do this show in America and not turn it into like the super competitive nonsense and drama that they always do here. They actually had a long time ago, they had a show. This is like, I don't even remember when it was. Early, maybe it was early 2000s. There was there was a show that was like the next top artist or something like that. It was, like it was like a Project Runway or something, but for artists. But it was so silly because the it was such a like they made it so competitive, and then also the people wouldn't always be working in their preferred mediums. It was very much a like a competition show, not a like, hey, we're artists who do a certain thing, kind of thing. But yeah, and it got very silly, but it was there was some interesting things to it, regardless of it how it turned out. Like it, um, it still there was like there's one guy who used to make he was an artist who like would his whole thing was he would take figurines and like repurpose them and stuff like this, and he was like well known in the underground scene for doing that. And I wouldn't have known that even existed if if I didn't hear about it somewhere. Not that I'm interested in that, but it's just interesting that like, hey, look, you can do this and find an audience. So, the most obscure random thing, you can get you can find your people, you got an audience. Hey, first time chatter, Gargorius. Welcome. How are you doing today? Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Doing fine. What about you? I'm doing good. Um, just trying to trying to get this, to a finish. Never. I'm not going to be able to finish it now regardless because I'm waiting for some supplies to be able to actually finish the painting, but I can get it like 90% of the way there. That's what I'm working on right now. But yeah, it is way too bright. I wish I could do a thing where like my camera zooms in while I'm painting detail, but I haven't found a way of automating that. And if it doesn't like track what I'm doing. I tried doing it manually, and what happens is I end up forgetting to reposition it every time I move to a different place, and then I end up painting off screen, which is just not what you want. It's looking absolutely fabulous, so thank you. Um, so I can show you in a minute. The goal is to I'm going to be putting gold leaf on this to go through the figure in all kinds of places. But I'm waiting for like I said, I'm waiting for the supplies to arrive to do that. So which is fine though, because I first need to finish the painting, and then once the painting's done, the gold leaf goes um, not technically on top, but it goes on after the painting is already done. Gold leaf, yep. Yeah. This is inspired by I might be getting the pronunciation a little wrong, but it's inspired by kitsugi, the Japanese art of mending. Um, I think it's solely pottery, technically, um, where they mend it with gold. So this is inspired. This painting is inspired by that. So there are gold. There will be gold cracks running through the figure. I can show you an example from another painting I did. Oh, awesome, Milo. Thank you. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, I did a sample painting to try it out and to figure out what the process would be like. So this kind of hard to see here, but the yeah, all of that is gold leaf. It gets distorted because I have a filter on the camera because it's off to the side, so it distorts to be more what's it called? Head on. But yeah, I think I can do this. Let's see. Yeah, you can see the gold leaf. Yeah, that's the concept. But as I looked into it, I found out that I can't use the well, I can, but it's problematic to use the imitation gold leaf because there's a chance it will oxidize over time. Milo says that's cool, looks amazing. Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, I like I think it's a really cool concept, and I have a whole series around it, planned around that concept now. So that was the test. This is, the self-portrait. And then I have a bunch of other ideas of how to incorporate the same concept. But as I was looking into it, I found out that there's a good chance that the imitation gold leaf will oxidize over time. You can seal it, but it's complicated. So I ended up just buying some actual gold leaf, which is ridiculously expensive for the what you get, like it's it's so little for so much money for so little product, but it's not like I'm covering the thing in gold. It's just these cracks through it. So it'll be fine. But Yeah. But yeah, after I paint the painting, I actually have to carve the I have to scrape out the paint where I'm going to put the gold because I can't actually put it on top of the oil paint even after it's dry. Uh, so yeah, it's a whole thing. Makes the whole process complicated. Um, Dar- wait, Dargorius, are you an artist? A lot of people who stop by are, so I always ask. See a lot of your paintings down here in the corner, and all of them are amazing. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I I changed my setup a little. Before I used to have my camera facing this way, so um, you could see a lot more of my paintings. Before I had my I used to have my camera up above my actual painting, but this one's too big and it doesn't fit there. So yeah. Dargorius says, "Oh yeah, I'm an artist, but I draw only for 9 to 10 months, so nothing amazing." Hey, it's fantastic that you started though. That's great. You know, that's everyone has to start somewhere. Um, you know, and I originally started in comic books. I wanted to be a comic book artist. You know, a lot of painters actually did. Uh, Milo, who's in the YouTube chat right now, uh, does like comic book art, and but also um, actually I don't know about Milo. I don't know if this is completely recent for you because I don't know your history, but I've seen you doing a lot more paintings. You know, they're still comic books, but they're comic book subjects, but they're much more paintings lately. So you know that's awesome. But people go from drawing to painting and back. Absolutely. Uh, Sinep says this. Uh, Not quite sure. Wait, that's weird. It says hi. I don't understand what weird font magic you're doing, but hello. How are you? That's so weird. Is it automatically translating? Is that what it's doing? That's weird. Dargaria Gregorius says, I always wanted to try painting, but I draw digitally and sometimes just pencil and paper. That's great. I mean, you can always, I used to be all digital too, so, nothing wrong with digital. Uh, oh, Zanep says, we talked before. I'm studying painting masters at Turkey. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. No, it's just your message beforehand. For some reason, it looks really weird to me. I don't know what's like it looks like some weird symbol and it says this, but then when I hover over it, it just says hi. So I was so confused by that, but whatever. Milo says I've been doing the gouache paintings for the last 2 years, trying to elevate my artwork. Yeah, and you have been. I mean, it's been really cool to see all your illustrations and how they've developed. It's been really cool. I like gouache. I think trying to think if I have a gouache painting. So what happened was, at one point I was all digital, and I wanted to get into painting, but I was scared of dealing with oil paints. So I looked around trying to find alternatives. And I did try gouache for a while, and I really liked it, but I did run into some issues. It's not the perfect medium um, for me. But eventually, I just, I just wanted to do oils more, so I ended up just doing that. But yeah, um, this is an unfinished painting or illustration in gouache. I never got around to finishing it, but I'd say it's close to finished. I'll never finish it, but it's getting close there. It was like fan art for uh the game Destiny. I have some other like landscapes in gouache that aren't that good, but yeah, like I said, I used gouache for a while. I really like it. There's just a few things about it that I ended up not liking and or weren't for me. But then when I tried oils, yeah, oils was the thing. Uh, Synep says there's an image. Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know. It's really strange. But whatever. Hey, it's good to see you though. Welcome back. Um, Dargorius says watching your art makes me want to draw right now. Yeah, for sure. I get that. That happens to me all the time. Um, Milo Art says thanks. That's how I found your channel. I was looking for painting channels, and I enjoy the honesty and work. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. I appreciate that. And that looks cool. Love those blends of colors. Thanks. Um, I'm really close to trying oils, but I'm digging the challenge of gouache. Yeah, no, gouache is great, and gouache has there's a lot of good things in gouache. The things that drove me kind of crazy in gouache was that the way that you can't really blend, you know, like the part of it was the artists that I wanted to paint like were painting in, for the most part, oil. So when you try and mimic the people that you like, if you're using a different medium, you're giving yourself more challenges, which was a big part of it. And then the other thing was the color shift just drove me crazy. And some people are able to like um, easily get past that. I couldn't. It drove me nuts. But but yeah, otherwise gouache has a lot of really cool aspects to it and benefits to it. So yeah. But yeah, Dargorius. I used to be all digital for years and years. So I totally get where you're coming from. And while I definitely think painting in real life is um is just more satisfying personally to do. Um and there is a learning curve between like when you transition from digital to traditional or traditional to digital, there's always a learning curve. The overall skills do transfer. So if you learn to draw digitally, you know, there's a learning curve, but you still will be able to draw traditionally. And if you learn how to paint digitally, there's more of a learning curve to get the paint to do what you want. But the basics are there. So I totally get it. And like starting, digital is it's so easy, to just get started. especially with today's tools, Well, Milo, I'm looking forward to seeing when you do try oils. Just just a little heads up about oils. I will say this. In my experience, it felt like the the big the big, you know, learning curve or the hump or the wall or however you want to describe it is really right up front at the beginning with oils. Like as soon as you start, you're you're in the you know, you're hitting the learning curve right away. Um, and I've heard some people say that they found it discouraging because of they tried it and then they got discouraged and left. It but it's all up front, like it's all in the very very beginning. Once you get past it, then it's no longer about the medium as much as it is about what you want to do with what you like the art you want to make. But yeah, the beginning of it is like it's like right at the from right from the start. It's like you hit the learning curve right away. Some mediums you can kind of play around with them and like you can feel like you can do a certain amount and then you start hitting like you're like, oh no, I don't, it's not doing what I want it to, like I don't know how to do this or whatever. And you can kind of like get into it first and then hit that learning curve. But that initial like you got into it part kind of carries you through. Um, from other people and from my own experience, from what I've heard, it doesn't feel that way with oils. But like I said, it's really much smaller than people think, and once you get past that, it's all good. All right, let's see if I can fix my face here in this painting. Uh, Dargorius is gonna just lurk and draw now. No problem at all. Um, no problem at all. Enjoy it. Enjoy the lurk. And if you join the Discord, you can share your artwork if that's something you're into, and talk art and everything. So yeah, more than welcome to. There should be a link. There should be a link down below. If it doesn't work or something, feel free to let me know. I'll go get the link. Milo says it's kind of funny. Well then, challenge accepted eventually. Yeah, absolutely. I've seen what you can do with gouache. You'll do fine with oils once you get into it. Part of the I did talk about this in one of my videos, but part of the challenge is just having the right supplies, and trying out different surfaces because you don't have the right what's it called? Um, you don't have the right brushes or the um, right things or the right kind of paper or canvases or whatever, it can make it a lot harder. And figuring that stuff out, some of it is personal preference and some of it is just either someone telling you or trial and error. Dargorius asks, is the Discord age restricted? I don't remember. I set it up a long time ago, and I don't remember if I set it up as age restricted. It might be. Um, so um, I was I was thinking of converting the Discord to a community Discord, which would then have to be, I think, all ages. But then Discord started doing all the nonsense that they started doing. Um, so I'm kind of waiting to see how things, where things land with you know, all the stuff that Discord was doing with the like ID stuff and all of that. Um, so yeah, so I'm not sure. I'll be honest. It's been a while since I set it up. There's a good chance it's age restricted. Um, but you know, although there's a chance it's not because we tried to have a not safe for work channel just because of like art because some art isn't you know just like, oh no, nudity in art, like that's a new thing, you know what I mean? But I think we got rid of that because someone was posting like really inappropriate stuff. It was just meant to be like, if someone's, classical art, like if someone's nude in it, it's not a big deal, but people people couldn't be chill. So I think we ended up getting rid of it. But yeah, the, all the stuff Discord's been doing lately, I don't know if we're even gonna stay with Discord. They already got a ton of backlash and like folded on a lot of it, but we'll see. Dagoria says, I won't join right now then, maybe later when I know if it is or not age restricted. Sure, no problem. Totally understandable. It absolutely understandable. I've heard of other discords and the kind of craziness that can go on in some of them. My Discord's very small and not like that, but I have heard about stuff. But yeah, in the future, I stream on I do stream on Saturdays. Um, if you post your art anywhere that's like, safe to view it, like Instagram or Imager or something like that. Yeah, you can share since you're on Twitch, you can share links on YouTube. You cannot share links I tried to set it up so that the links would be, um, for approval on YouTube, but for the life of me, I could not get that to work. Milo says, "Have an amazing paint session. I'll be away from the keyboard, but I'll have you on the background and uh, peering in the. Man, I gotta stop trying to read through my glasses, peering at the progress. And I look forward to connecting with you soon. Yeah, man, that'll be great. Thanks, I appreciate it, and yeah, me too, man. Have a good day. Um, you know, and I'll talk to you later." Zenep says this painting is quite different in a good way. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's more it's a more involved painting. Like I don't get to do, or I haven't done as many of these purely because of like, the amount of time that is required uh to set it up and to do the painting, the whole process. So I I had to take the time and do a photo shoot. I mean, obviously I did it myself, but it still took me time to set it all up, get everything, not just the camera. I had to set up my lights and do all this stuff, you know, and um, so and the painting has more elements to it, which I think is a good thing, but it's more involved, and that takes more time, more setup, more everything. And especially when I was trying to do the like daily paintings, there's no way I could possibly do that. But yeah, and thanks, I appreciate it. And yeah, part of it is too is that like I have this idea now for this series that I'm going to be doing, and I think that's also a big part of it. And what I'm hoping to do is, as time goes on, I'm hoping to do, you know, um, paintings like a mix of more involved paintings like this one, and also, you know, less uh demanding ones, you know, smaller, quicker, less demanding ones. It reminds me a painting from Renee Margaret, but different than, of course. Oh, thanks. I'll have to look her up, see if I can find the painting or the paintings you're referring to. In the painting, there are two figures, and one of the figures is drawing other in the painting scene. Okay, thanks. I appreciate the description. That'll help me find it. You're welcome. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it. I would tell you to send me a link, but like I said, I haven't been able to set up YouTube to accept links. So, you couldn't send it even if I asked. Come on, camera. You're supposed to track my face. Yeah, I'll be honest. Usually I try and be I try and talk a lot during my stream and be very, very talkative. Today, apologize if I'm not the most. Uh, it's not that I mind talking while I paint. I really don't. I enjoy it. I really enjoy streaming and talking to everyone. But I'm also focused on the painting. So if I'm not as like monologue-y as I normally am, I apologize. Like usually I try and do like just talk to myself even if no one's asking questions or anything. But yeah, I don't know if I'm how much I'm going to be up for that today. But if people have questions or want to talk about things, that I'm fine with. I do I do wanna figure out how to set up something. Well, let me rephrase that. I'm interested in the concept of setting up like a silent stream where I paint with no, you know, not talking or talking only in breaks, and then the rest of the time it's like an ASMR thing. But I don't think that most of my painting supplies actually make that much noise. I'm not Bob Ross here. I'm not like scraping, you know, I'm not scraping the canvas or whatever, really. So I don't know that that will work, but we'll see. All right. Let me check something, and I can hear my dog Wizard. I don't know if he needs to go out or not. Let me check on him. Oh, no, he's all right. He's just chilling. I absolutely, for the record, hate painting myself. I've done so many self-portraits, but I absolutely hate it every single time. It's hard to paint yourself. It is. It really is. It's so much harder than painting someone else. The big advantage is, of course, that you're always available to model for yourself, you know? So that's the that's the big advantage of painting yourself. As Zenep says, I don't know, it feels strange to me, and I failed. You can always try again. But yeah, it is it is a very strange feeling. Part of the reason that it's so strange is because um well, it depends how you're doing it. If you're painting yourself in the mirror, it feels more natural. But if you're taking a photo of yourself and you're you're not painting it, um you're not mirroring the photo, so it's flipped, right? That's you're used to seeing yourself in the mirror way more than you are seeing yourself like the way that everyone else sees you, you know, not in the mirror, right? So that's why when you paint yourself from photo reference, it can feel off because you're used to seeing yourself flipped. But if you paint yourself in the mirror, other people who know you really well will think that the painting is off because they're seeing it flipped because of the mirroring effect. So yeah, uh, it's very awkward. But yeah, like you said, photo is not real for sure, and that's one of the reasons I do recommend people who are new to art in general. People are never people who are new to art. Basically, I recommend that they do as much live drawing and painting as they can because the way that a camera processes an image, we think of it as being like, oh, that represents reality, but the camera is still processing things in a way that is different from how our eyes see things, you know? So it's worth practicing from the real thing. And don't get me wrong, I know not everyone can work from the real thing all the time, but you can practice it. And then when you work from photography, it still helps your stuff look better. Actually, the feeling that when I'm painting is weird because I'm looking at me by myself, and it's not possible in real time, so it's a strange feeling. Did I use a photo in this or use a mirror? Well, okay, so technically both in this case because I took a photo of myself through the mirror. Uh, but in this case, yeah, you can see here. Um, like this is the mirror image, and it's kind of hard to see. But if you look here, you see this thing, and you see this, and this thing, and this thing. These are the ones in the mirror. These are the real ones. And I don't know how well that actually reads, but, you know. But yeah, I took this, like I said, through a mirror, but usually I don't do that. That was part of the concept of the painting in this case. Yes, we see you from the bathroom mirror and painting. Yep, exactly. So, yeah, in this case, I did both, but usually I don't use a mirror necessarily. I will say this, I've never painted myself directly from a mirror though. I don't have the patience for that. Like some people do that. They'll set up a mirror and then they'll just stand or sit in front of the mirror and paint themselves. And that is a really good way of doing it, you know? That's a you're viewing it from life, the colors are good, like it's good. I don't have the patience for that. Hey Des, good to see you. The lighting would change a lot if you have windows in the room. Yes. Uh Zenep says it's practice. Yeah, for practice for sure. It's a good way to practice. Absolutely. And yeah, the lighting would change a lot if you have windows, but you could also isolate that. But Zenep's also right. It is good practice because a lot of times you're not painting from, you know, if you paint from life, the the lighting doesn't stay all the time, unfortunately. Hi, wizard. That says I'm here. I'm just sick and keeping nodding off. Aw, Tez, I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope you feel better soon. Hi, wizard. Oh, hello. That's uncommon. How you doing? Hold on a second. Let me see if you'll stay. Wizard. Hey, you okay, buddy? Oh, okay. My dog, he's a little weirded out that Michelle left and he's stuck upstairs right now. Okay. All right, I think he needs to go use the bathroom. So I am going to let him out for a minute. I'll be right back. Alrighty. Mm. At the end of this painting, I might actually, we'll see how much I don't know, I'll try it out maybe, but I'm thinking of trying to add some effects to add, you know, like, what's it called? Like water spots or something on the mirror. This part is so small. Trying to get like the different variations and everything is challenging. Ears are so weird. They're like the way that they're designed, all the like little folds and everything. By the way, Uh, Zenep, if you're still here, how is, you said you're studying, uh, art, or I apologize if I don't remember all the details. You said you were studying art. How is that going? If you feel like sharing. Alright, let's see here. I still need some work, but I also wanna take some breaks from it. and let it, let my eyes refresh once I fix what I just saw. am sometimes very torn between how much I want to compress everything and how much I want to actually go in and paint the details of things. It's always a, not always, but it's often a, what's it called? Like opposing feelings that I have to kind of pick which ones, you know, which ones I should give into. Oh, this has nothing to do with anything, but I watched a little bit of Saving Private Ryan the other day, and if I'm not mistaken, Nathan Fillion's in that. I did not realize that. Dial M for art. Welcome. How are you doing today? Amazing work. Thank you. I appreciate that. With a username like that, I'm going to assume you're an artist. What type of art do you do? Ooh, tell the message. Let's see. Um, okay. Don't know why that was held. Nice to meet you. I'm just a hobbyist, portraits mostly, drawing a little bit of oil painting. I'm just checking your Instagram, and my God, dude, you're pretty cool and awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. How are you doing? Uh, actually, I asked that already. Um, Des says, I love your Instagram. That's high praise. Des likes your Instagram. I'll have to check it out. Absolutely. Absolutely, Des. I trust your sense of taste. I um, Des says you've done Leia. Is it Leia that you said? I literally am not sure how to read that. I am dyslexic, so sometimes my brain just like doesn't track. But yeah. LM parts is really, I'm a Pinterest girly, so most of my references are either from there or movie screenshots. Oh, Des says we've done several of the same subjects. Oh, that's funny. Des, if you can, share, if you're up for it, share the link. This says not too many of us traditional artists around. I mean, we're out here. I don't know. Oop, I have to take a break anyways, or my camera will overheat. Oh, very nice. Oh, these are good. This guy looks familiar. Some of these look very familiar as far as like the reference that you used, but I mean, so obviously some of them are movies, and I can tell a lot of the ones that are from movies, but there are some that are just like pencil drawings or something that I'm like, I don't know who this is, but it looks very familiar. But yeah, a lot of these are really good. Very nice. And looks like quite a bit of improvement as well, you know. I like the oh, what is it? What is her name? The Misery painting from the movie. That was a good one. The hard angle to do too. That's a really tough angle to paint. So, good job on that one. So, I can show you right now. So the painting I'm working on right now, um, I'm planning on making it a series of paintings, and the idea is, oops, wrong thing here. 1 second. The idea is to, it's inspired by, and I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right, but kitsugi, from the Japanese art of like preparing ceramics. So the idea is to uh, put gold leaf into it. This was a test painting, but the idea is to do a series of paintings like this. Um, so you can see, trying to, like, make it so you can see the gold leaf and everything. But yeah, so once I'm done with this painting, I'm actually gonna, like, originally I sketched in some of the, you know, crack lines, but I'm gonna have to go back and scrape the paint out, uh, and then I can put in the glue, and then glue in gold leaf into it. So yeah, thank you. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, I have a idea. Uh, I have a bunch of ideas for, like, a, you know, basically a series of paintings that involve that. So yeah, it'll be hopefully it'll be a cool series. I think it will be, but yeah. But I always have, not always, but I don't like painting myself. So doing a self portrait, I'm probably going a lot slower than I would if this was someone else. But I'm not a fan of painting myself. I do it, but Oh, thanks, Des. Des with the links. Appreciate it. Oh shoot, it's already 5. Ah, crap. All right. Uh, Zenep says, I thought it was a medium, but gold leaf is better, I guess. Yeah, so gold leaf is different. And it's actually, I'm going to be using genuine gold leaf, because the fake gold leaf can tarnish over time, but the genuine stuff is, well, genuine gold, and so it will not tarnish over time. But yeah, it's depending on what you're doing. Like, if you wanted to paint, I like if you want to paint a gold goblet, I don't necessarily think you should use gold paint, or necessarily use glittery paint or gold leaf, because it can kill the dimension of it, and it can, you know but I do think that in certain times, in certain applications, the the shininess of the gold and the flatness of it also can add something to it. So I think it's a fun, like, it just go, it is flat. It just sits there, but the rest of the painting has dimension. So it's a fun play on that. And then it does have a unique, shine to it, obviously. So it just depends on the circumstances. I will say that a lot of the fake gold stuff, just not the fake gold leaf, but like, just, gold in a bottle type of paint, usually is not that great. But yeah. Dial M for art. So the same. If I look at myself too long, I want to abandon art, move to the forest, and never paint again. I feel that. I've also done retouching on myself for like photos, and that is horrendous. I hate it so much. Just sitting there, zoomed into my face, and trying to remove all the imperfections. Yeah, not a fan of that. Really not a fan of that. Um, oh well, you know. But like I said, I've said before, um, you know, at least you're always there. You're always available to model for yourself. So that's why I've done so many self portraits, and so many. I don't mean like hundreds, but still like I think 7 or 8, maybe 10 up to this point. I don't know. More than I'd like, but whatever. Although this one, I actually, uh, unlike a lot of my other self portraits, I don't. There's a lot about this I don't like because it's a self portrait, but the overall painting, I really like the concept and everything, and I can't wait to go through and like scratch out all the crack lines and then fill it in with gold and everything. Yeah. Anyways, unfortunately, I didn't realize what time it was. I have to go. I, s- I have a gallery. Um, I'm trying to go. There's an opening tonight for a group show. I'm not in it, but I still want to go to, uh, you know, meet people and hang out and everything, and hopefully be in the next one. So I am going to have to cut this a little short. Usually I try and go for about 2 to 3 hours when I stream. But yeah, sorry for cutting it short. Thank you everyone for stopping by. I appreciate it. Um, Dylan for Art says it was lovely meeting you, and I hope to catch more of your streams. I really love your art. Enjoy your day. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, and it was very nice meeting you as well. Uh, I stream generally. I stream on Saturdays. I used to stream a couple times a week. At the moment, I'm cutting it down to just once a week. Hopefully, I will start putting out YouTube videos though soon. I'm not rushing it, but the goal is to start putting out YouTube videos regularly at some point this year. Um, so keep an eye for that. And yeah, um, Zenep, it was great seeing you again. It's been a while, but I'm glad you're here. Um, Milo, of course, and Des. Appreciate you modding as always. And if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. I have a short memory span. But no, I gotta rush out now. So I will catch you all later. Have a good one. Bye.